I'm here with Max, who is not in costume, but he is doing exceptionally good sunglass tip, and Michael J. Fox would be proud. I have rolled up my sleeves. It's all in honor of the 10th anniversary of Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which was their wonderful period game taking place in Miami, or Miami-ish city in the 80s.
It is Miami. There's no one ever tried to pretend that wasn't Miami.
So first thing, what are your memories of the 80s, and how do they square up with the experiences of Grand Theft Auto Vice City?
Well, I don't remember anything probably before the very early 90s. And my memories of Vice City were really more just kind of messing around in the game. That was probably the first sandbox game that I really sunk my teeth into and really got the sense of like, I can cause so much mayhem here.
And I think also that, I know that Rockstar, back then DMA Designs, was aware of the fact that Grand Theft Auto 3 was going to be big, or that was very significant, but I think Vice City, you really saw them capitalize upon what had happened in the wake of the release of that game. And there was just that sense that, this is exciting. You get to drive around in an 80s themed world. In addition, you could buy the property. You suddenly, you really felt that world had started to become really, really alive. It wasn't just a sandbox.
Colorful. I think a big thing of it was also just that they really, they picked an exciting time period to set it in, and there was also so much color.
Yeah.
And GTA 3, as good as it is still kind of, it's like they were still sort of in that sort of Max Payne kind of mood.
Right. It was
gritty and
just
dirty,
a big open city, and now this was a big open city that felt like it had a lot more life to it. I think in large part because it was a little bit more clear what it was trying to ape, which was, Miami Vice and all those memories of the 80s, which is my favorite part of the game because of I'm old and I grew up in the 80s, was the music, and that having that as kind of your soundtrack to the experiences. My first 4-star chase,
easily.
I'm just flying down the road. There's a big roadblock at the end of it, and what comes on the radio but Mr. Mister's Broken Wings. And there's just something just so glorious about that experience. It's probably one of the giddiest moments I've had playing games.
I think what I love is the stuff that I discovered in Vice City. That was, for a lot of people like me, I know, who weren't around in the 80s for that stuff to be familiar, kind of, throwback tunes. That was our first, that was our greatest hits of the 80s. That exposed us to so much music.
I never thought of it that
And then
way.
it was kind of spun out from there. And I remember I loved Night Ranger's Sister Christian.
Oh, yeah.
And later, upon seeing Boogie Nights,
I was
there's
about to say.
wonderful Coke deal scene, and you've got Alfred Molina, and he's just rocking out to Sister Christian, and it's hard to tell what's a pop
Vice
culture
City
reference
is your
and what's
context for then other popular entertainment that was to follow in its wake.
And then, of course, I went back and actually watched a lot of Miami Vice, and I got into a lot of 80s movies, and that's why I own this blazer. And it's cool seeing kind of what they were doing there. But really, Vice City was kind of my that was my dipping my toes in the water there.
So my nostalgia was that's what evoked in me. But for you, it was kind of more of an educational experience.
Yeah, it's like how some people go to Renaissance fairs. I was more like, I like neon lights and bikini ladies and cocaine.
You like to collapse, the eras into something a little bit closer to a 2-decade gap. It is important to point out that we are reminiscing about a game that in and of itself is a reminiscence about a bygone era. So I don't know what that means on kind of a postmodern meta level.
That's pretty meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like meta proto-nostalgia or something.
Now, there's some other memories I have of this game coming out. Oh, God, it was before maybe a few months, because it was first quite remarkable that Vice City came out so soon after the release.
I remember
Grand Theft Auto 3.
being kind of nonplussed because I remember kids in my study hall in high school being like, "Dude, Vice City looks so awesome! It's so great." I'm like, well, "Isn't it just sort of like an expansion pack? Is it a full game?" And they're like,
it didn't make sense.
There's motorcycles, there's boats, there's all this stuff, and I'm like, okay. And then they're like 99 Red Balloons is in it. I'm like, what? That song that Goldfinger covers?
No.
Yeah, I'm a youngster. What can I say?
You clearly are. Well, I think it was either Next Gen, maybe it was Game Informer, that one of the big stories on it was that you could buy property. And that just was almost kind of like a mind-blowing revelation where once again, you just got the sense that the city was going to become more and more alive.
Would you say that Vice City is your favorite GTA? Where does it rank?
Okay, it's interesting. Vice City is my favorite GTA memory. But there are certain aspects of the game, the roads were far more narrow, and the car design had not kind of evolved yet. And there was the whole problem about running downstairs and losing health. That kind of made it a far more challenging game than it needed to be.
Yeah.
But in terms of kind of their clarity of vision, I don't think it gets matched until 4.
But then there was that one street curb you could run into that would shoot money out of it.
Yes, that's true.
Who could forget
That's
that magic
true.
street curve? If you guys actually want to go back and play Vice City, that's out for iOS and Android now for $5.
Yeah,
which
so-
is pretty good for a really good game,
So
even if
now
it is 10 years
you
old.
can experience our memories,
Yes,
and we can have this discussion all over again 10 years from now,
we're like Highlanders, except there can be two of us, I guess.
for the moment.